So I find that some students are wanting to use the ChatGPT, and I really like the recommendation of not using it first. Because one problem with looking at examples, whether they're from ChatGPT or Overflow or even the textbook, one guideline I give students is don't use a line of code if you don't understand what it's doing. So much of the skill is to learn how to solve the puzzles and to be able to build your problem solving skills. And I don't know another way to build those other than to use them. And it's great to look at examples. So I don't want to discourage them, but I do tell them that if you don't understand every line of code that's in your program, then you need to be asking questions and proactively seeking and experimenting with the code until you fully understand it, and make sure that you could put comments on every step. I also warn them about the quality, because they might get something really advanced that, it's like checking Stack Overflow or ChatGPT. You might get something that's way overkill, because I'll tell them to write an algorithm to find the smallest number. You can do that with just a while loop and some if statements. And then what they'll find is something that does like vectors and stores a whole list of numbers. And, so I don't want them to see examples like that when they're not quite at that level. So a lot of times, one way I address it is to provide in-class examples and tell them these are the simple tools that I want you to use. And if you see examples that are beyond these tools, we'll get to those later, maybe in Computer Science 2 class instead of Intro to Programming. So I also tell students one of my favorite things is write it until you can write it from a blank page. So maybe we looked at the example to get it to work the first time, and you get it turned in, and you for a grade. If you didn't really understand it, I encourage them to write it again, and then maybe come up with their own idea and modify it a little bit. And solve that problem until you can do it from a blank page, possibly more than one way.